Kelly Johnson here from Wings, Worms, and Wonder. Thank you so much for joining me at the 3 at 3 Gardening Tips Periscope. Today is the last of the July series, so we'll see how it goes. See if everyone's interested. Let me know. Give me some hearts so I know we'll keep doing these garden tips so y'all can ask your questions and learn more about gardening. So today, 3 at 3 planting tips. Now, how many of you, let me see by responsive hearts, have gone to the nursery, bought a plant you were really psyched on, got it home, tried to plant it, and no dice. Didn't succeed, we'll say. It's that you were not set up for success. A lot of nursery and garden centers don't give you all the real scoop on planting tips that you need to really get a larger size plant growing successfully in your yard. So today we're going to talk about that. So first off, 3 tips for large planting in your garden. Now, I don't mean garden bed as far as veggies. I'm talking more like you bought an apple tree, or you bought a citrus tree, or you bought a really awesome flowering shrub. So first things first, you may have noticed that plants come in different sizes, the pot sizes obviously. They usually go by gallons, smaller pots go by inches. So I'm talking kind of 3 gallon and up, and I'm going to flip real quick here. Let's go. This beautiful passion vine that I have here, and this is a 3 gallon pot. I'm going to put my foot in the shot so you can kind of see the size. So 3 gallon pot with a trellis. I mean, this whole flipping thing's totally weird, right? So 3 gallon pot or above, you want to dig your hole twice as large as the pot. So first things first, dig your hole twice as large as the pot. Why? Because the growers, they want plants to be in as small a pot as possible to save space on the farm, which makes perfect sense. But that means that your plant is going to be root bound. So it's going to need space to stretch out and space to grow. So first tip, dig your hole twice as large as the pot that it comes in. Now what do you do with that big hole? I would say tip 1A, if we're going on outline form here. Welcome to everyone who's joining. I'm Kelly with Wings, Worms, and Wonder. Thank y'all so much for being here. So first tip, dig your hole twice as large as the pot it comes in. Then take your hose and fill the hole all the way up with water, and then just let it soak. Let that water soak in so you really saturate the earth around the area where your new plant is going to go, because we're trying to get it off to a healthy start. Like we set ourselves and our children up for success, we want to set our plants up for success too. So you've dug your hole twice as big. I know I'm repeating here. You filled it up with water all the way, let it soak in. Now you're going to take a high quality planting soil, not potting soil, planting soil. And you can mix that with some compost, whether that's compost from your yard, mushroom compost from a bag, some black cow. You don't want to use black cow on edibles though. So if it's something that's a fruit tree or a veggie, you want to use vegetable-based compost. Sachet tendon, you grow it just like you grow any other plant. So this will help you get it off to a good start. That's funny. So anyway, you're going to fill in the bottom of the hole and the sides with your mixture of compost and planting soil. And then you're going to set your plant in. Now you're going to have to measure sort of the soil level of the plant with your hand. And so just take your hand and see that the soil level of your new plant is even with the ground. And then backfill in any more potting or planting soil with, oh, thank you, Book Sense. Yeah, there's cicadas, actually. They're really loud. Sorry about that. So you want to fill in all around with the healthy soil. So you're surrounding that root ball, and you can loosen up the roots some if you notice they look real wrapped around the root ball of the plant. So loosen the roots, fill in with your healthy soil all around, and make sure the soil level of your potted plant is even with the ground level. You don't want it to be below. Why is that? Because you can get root rot and fungus. So keep it even with the ground. And if that means you have to backfill in with more planting soil and compost, then that's okay. You may take the plant out, add some more, put the plant back in, measure it, and see. It's no big deal. It's good to do on the front end so you don't have to dig it back up on the back end after it's gotten settled. So once you have your plant planted in the twice as big hole, filled in with healthy planting soil and compost, then you're going to water it again. So water it for about 5 minutes, standing there with the hose. Really fill it up, kind of flood it, and then you'll notice that the soil will compact. Mandaface, I don't have a plan for routine planting videos, but I'm trying to decide and see about a regular schedule for gardening videos that y'all could ask questions. So I'll see. Let me know. Email me or leave a comment on social media and let me know what you think. There's a mosquito trying to get in this video. So now, cool. I'm so super psyched that you're into it. You're going to backfill, and you'll see the soil will compact. So that'll probably mean you need to add more soil. Always buy extra soil because it seems like there's never enough soil. So once you have your plant filled in with healthy soil, you've watered it, you've refilled it in, you've tamped the soil down, added some more if necessary, and the soil level of the pot is even with the ground. Now, you might think your job is done. No, job is not done. Now you want to build a little wall around the perimeter of the root ball of the plant. So you're kind of making a little well where if it rains, that will collect the water in there and let it soak in rather than just running off away from the plant. This is especially important if there's a bit of a slope to the ground. So build a little, kind of like a little wall, like you're making a little bowl around the plant. And that might seem counterintuitive to what I was saying about having the soil level even with the ground level, but you're not actually lowering it. You're just sort of building a little wall to trap water. And that well will really help with step 2 of part 2 of tip 2. You are going to water your new plant every single day for 2 weeks. Now you hear that? No skipping. Before or after work, lunch break, whatever, you must water your new plant every single day for 2 weeks. Hi, Kyla! So awesome to see you. So now, I know that can seem overwhelming, but it's only 2 weeks. Mark it on your calendar. Give yourself a little star every time you remember to water your plant, but every day for 2 weeks. And then you can cut back to twice a week for a month to 6 weeks. And then after about 6 weeks, you can just let your sprinklers or Mother Nature be in charge of the watering. So you're going to, tip number 2, build a little wall around the perimeter of your plant to trap water, and you're going to water every day for 2 weeks, and then you're going to water twice a week for 4 to 6 weeks, and then you're going to let nature take its course. Now, of course, drought conditions and other things we may have to supplement. And so after you have done that, and when you're watering, I don't mean like 2 seconds. Sorry guys, you need to stand there with the hose for like literally 5 minutes, even if you time yourself. Maybe put 2 songs on your iPod and listen to your 2 favorite songs while you water or something to track the time. But you need to really, really saturate that root ball. And all of this is going to help prevent transplant shock and set your plant up for success. It's kind of like when you're sick or stressed out, you need more water. It's the exact same thing with the plant. A new plant needs more water than an established plant. Now, tip number 3, and this one, you could say it's optional, but in my years of working in a nursery and gardening, I would say it's not optional for larger plants. When you're buying your plant, get yourself some brand of root stimulator. The brand Fertilome, I get no kickbacks, but I happen to really find their products to be high quality. Fertilome makes a product actually called root stimulator, and it's a liquid and it's a very gentle rooting hormone, and you mix that with water, and you're going to water your new plant with the root stimulator for once a week for 4 to 6 weeks. And this is going to make a huge difference in preventing transplant shock. Transplant shock is when you plant a plant and then all of a sudden it looks like it's gonna just croak and drops all its leaves and turns yellow. I know, right? Root stimulator. It makes sense, right? It's strengthening the roots. It's stimulating growth and giving the plant a little extra boost. It's kind of like taking vitamin C when you're sick. Extra water and vitamin C, plant gets extra water and root stimulator for the first 4 to 6 weeks. Then after that, you can let go on the root stimulator and get the plant onto a regular feeding schedule. Maybe if it's fruit tree, 4 times a year. Generally 4 times a year is good, with some sort of tree and shrub or fish emulsion, or whatever you happen to be using for whatever the actual plant is. If you have a specific question about what to feed and how to feed a specific plant, you can definitely email me that. And those are my 3 planting tips. So quick review: build your root, dig your hole twice as large as your root ball of the plant. Build a little well around the plant to collect water, and water it every day for 2 weeks, and then back off. And 3, use some sort of root stimulator to really prevent transplant shock. So those are 3 tips at 3 for planting larger plants, trees, and shrubs. With little garden plants or little annual flowers, you don't need to go to quite such lengths because they're not as big of an investment and they're a little bit more resilient. But that watering for 2 weeks you can definitely do with any plant. Now, does anybody have any questions about planting anything? I'm happy to answer them. This is the last of the July 3 at 3 series, so also, let me know your feedback if you like this 3 at 3, or maybe better timing for you. You can always email or let me know on Twitter or social media a time that would be great for you. So we'll see if anybody has any planting questions. I can show you. Oh, Kyla says, Kelly, is this true for potted plants or just plants in the yard? This is just plants in the yard. This is plants going into the ground. But potted plants, it's a great question because, again, when you buy a plant, a lot of people do this. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many people talking about potted plant success. When you buy a potted plant at the nursery, again, it's in the smallest pot possible because the growers want to save space. So my planting zone is 9A here. I'm in North Florida at latitude 30, Amanda Face. So with a potted plant, they come in those black pots, and maybe you buy a decorative pot and then you set your plant into it in the black pots. No, bad gardeners. Always, always, always completely repot your new plant out of that black grower pot where it's totally root bound and doesn't have enough soil to be healthy, and into a pot that is approximately twice as large as the pot it came in. So always, always, and when you're potting, you know how I stressed, although I made a mistake when I was talking, but I stressed when you're planting to use into this ground to use planting soil. When you're potting up into another pot, always use potting soil. There is a difference. Potting soil has much better drainage and it's much lighter because it's going to be in a pot. The roots can't spread out. So yeah, Kyla, see, there's all these little tricks that people don't know about, and I feel so bad that people think they have brown thumbs, but they don't. Their thumbs are really green. They just have not been set up for success. So that's why I'm here, to help set you up for success with all these secret tricks that you learn from I learned from my grandpa, or from working at nurseries, or just experience. Because what better way, I feel like humans need to connect, and what better way to learn than from each other. So, yes, Kyla, so potting soil, repot into a larger pot with good drainage. Kyla, I would love to have a gardening day with you, and I'm going to hold you to that. So, any other questions about planting or potting? I'm trying to think. Those are the three main tips, and each one of those tips kind of has extra subcategories, but generally. For seeds, if you're planting seeds, that watering every day for 2 weeks thing is definitely, a lot of people think they can't grow seeds, but it's just because they don't give them enough water. Seeds must have consistent watering. Oh yeah, Kyla, totally. So, and Kyla says gardening at the beach. It's a girl's day out. Gardening and then the beach. It's a girl's day out. That is so true. And for those of you that live in places like me, I live 4.5. Yeah, man to face. I learned the hard way a lot of times too. That is so true. But we remember when we learn the hard way. Living at the beach here, our soil is not soil. It's basically sand. There's a couple inches, maybe 9 inches of really sandy brown dirt, and then it just goes to straight white sand. So digging that hole twice as large and really amending it with good compost and good planting soil is huge, huge, huge for setting up for success here in Florida or anywhere at the beach. Maybe if your soil is rocky, knowing your soil, if you have a lot of clay, breaking some of that up and adding good soil in around will really help your plants get a good start on life and give you lots and lots of years of happiness, and hopefully if it's a fruit tree, lots of years of fruit. And I think that's it. Any other questions? Anybody have? Thank you so much for the hearts, guys. If not, I'll maybe see you next week, guys. I'll check my blog. Oh, let me flip to this and you can see. Oh, I'm always scared I'm gonna make y'all seasick. Okay, there's my info. So be sure to check my website for tons of free resources for connecting with nature through art and gardening. You can subscribe to my newsletter for tons more gardening tips and lots of resources and activities for connecting creatively with nature. And thank you so much for joining me, Kelly Johnson, your creative nature connection guide here in the world of wings, worms, and wonder. And if you like this scope and found it useful, thank you so much for tapping me some hearts. Tap a few more. You can follow me on social media for lots more creative nature connection fun. My website is wingswormsandwonder.com. wingswormsandwonder.com. And let me know. Send me a message in the contact if you have any questions. Check out the blog posts for any new tips. I have lots of videos on there on YouTube and Vimeo, and tons of resources to set you up for gardening success. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye, everyone.